Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. I was not planning on making a video today. It's a Saturday, but I always bring my GoPro with me whenever, because you never know what might happen along the route. Could be YouTube worthy. But there's a question that I get asked repeatedly, at least a few times a month, and I'm going to answer that today. So here we are on a site today, and it's a typical site for me. I do a lot of tower work. So it's a lot of access roads, a lot of guy anchor paths, power lines. You know, this is like my big thing that I do is tower work. So right off the get-go, the question that people ask me is, why do you use an excavator, mulcher, and not a skid steer? Because skid steer, you know, high flow, they're quicker, faster, you know, much quicker than the excavator, you know, the 8-ton, 9-ton excavators are. And you're right, absolutely, hands down. On flat ground, straight lines, whatever, cleaning up in the woods, yes, they are faster, but they are no good for my big line of work. So, you know, I clean the access roads, I clean the ditches. I'm able to articulate my boom, my mulcher, to do that. With a tracked skid steer, I cannot. Also, you see what's here, loads and loads and loads of rock. I live in Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia has boulders, rock. The only place, if you look down there, field, okay, that's great. Down in some valleys, it's great. You know, the valley, Kentville, New Minas, Greenwood, there's areas there that the skid steer would work great. But the majority of the time, this is what I'm doing. And then, you know, when you're reaching over into the power lines, which I'll show you up here what I'm doing right now, again, you cannot get that angle, those angles and those drops with the skid steer. Also, on the guy anchors, this one doesn't really have guy anchors. It's just like it's a small monopole tower. When they do these towers, guys, they get them in, they cut them out, they get the lines up, and that's it. They don't worry about leaving boulders behind. They don't worry about that stuff. See, a lot of times you need to work around that. You can articulate your bucket. You could even push some rocks out of the way. With the skid steer, again, you would just be going through teeth like absolute crazy. So you can see here again, we got a big drop off in a ditch, all rock. Skid steer cannot do that. Okay, well, if you are new to the channel, this is my KX080-4 and my FAE DML HYVT 125 mulcher. This is my 5th season with this mulcher and this excavator, and it has been doing absolutely fantastic. Okay, so here, you know, we got a big drop off down to this ditch, and I need to get into that power line. Again, you cannot do this with the skid steer. If you had that muncher down there, sure, you can. But then again, you can't get, you know, if there's boulders and whatnot, it makes it very tough. Up here, the whole landscape is like this and like this and like this and like this. But I can sit with my bucket, sit with my blade down if I need to, reach out, do what I gotta do. So this is what works for me. Now, would I like to add a skid steer? Absolutely. If I buy another piece of equipment, more than likely it will be a skid steer or a tandem. That's what I will be purchasing next for my company. And if I buy a skid steer, well then yeah, absolutely, I'm gonna put a mulcher on it. Just makes sense. I'm in this industry. So I don't just do tower work, I do other stuff as well. If I'm gonna buy a skid steer, I will hands down put a mulcher on it. There's no doubt about that. It's guaranteed 100%. But for now, I've got 2 excavators with mulchers. I'm getting my 95 geared up with a mulcher. It's what works for me. It's not what works for everybody, but it's what works for me in my line of work and what I'm doing. I just thought I'd make this video nice and quick because I do get asked all the time why I chose an excavator over skid steer. Because when I first got into this, I was debating back and forth, what should I get, an excavator or a skid steer? And originally I chose an excavator because I can do so much more with it. You know, foundations, septics, build roads, clearing lots, drains, all that sort of stuff. Those are the big reasons why I bought the excavator, and that's another reason why I have an excavator instead of a skid steer as well, because it's just so much more versatile. A skid steer is a great piece of equipment, but it's very limited to what it can do, unless you buy a bunch of attachments for it and all that sort of stuff. But an excavator you can do so much with. You can just do so much with an excavator, and it works perfect for what I'm doing. But anyway guys, that's gonna do it. Just quickly explaining all the reasons why I have this and not a skid steer. Hope it helps everybody. You know, if you're in this line of work, you're looking to do this stuff, those are all reasons why I chose it. Maybe this helps you. That's what all these videos really are about, to be honest. But anyway, that's it. Till next time, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you then. Bye.